It's not working. It's not working. It doesn't seem to be working. Are you there? So before we eat, we wanted to say just a few words. In truth, this is the most nervous bit of the day for us. So if we stumble, laugh, cry, or generally mess up, which there's every possibility of that, we're asking for your kindness to forgive and forget. So today we are the happiest of happy. Other, and we have all of you who have given up your Friday to be here with us. It's hard, I know. We haven't done the conventional relationship thing, as many of you know. We went on honeymoon a few weeks ago, before the wedding. And, well, when we were there, we were reflecting on our lives, our life journeys, our relationship, our families, our friends, and generally what's important to us. And while we were lying there in the sun, well, in truth, Paul was in the sun, and I was under an umbrella with factor 250 on it, we landed on the same thing. It's all about the people. The people come into your life. Sometimes they come into your life for a reason. Sometimes they come into your life for a season. And sometimes they come into your life for a lifetime. And how lucky are we to have all of you, such wonderful, kind people, in our lives and here today to help us celebrate. There's some that can't be here today, sadly. Paul's parents, my parents, who have all sadly passed away. Paul's brother, who's on a trip to Japan, as you do, on a rugby trip. Some good friends from Scotland who weren't able to make it. But all of you have come. And we're so happy that you're here. And on writing this little wedding speech, and it's only this thick because my eyesight's so zero, we wondered where to start. And no better place than at the beginning. So for me as a young girl growing up in Scotland to Irish parents, alongside my beautiful, but not as beautiful as me, kind, caring and generous younger sister, Angela, one table passing with her long-standing and oh so patient husband, Donnie. They met on a blind date, pre-internet days, 30 years ago. And they have such a wonderful son, Logan, who's a really special young lad. So thank you for coming down from Scotland today and being my witness. For the room, she was so desperate, and I mean desperate, beyond what any of you in this room could quite imagine, to be my bridesmaid. She had the meringue pink dress picked out, the bridesmaid speech written, God forbid. She was even getting ready to sing, even more God forbid, because she most certainly doesn't have the voice of an angel. So I'm sorry, younger sister Angela, it is only scribbling a signature today, but there's always the dance floor later.
Okay, over to me. So my family, small as it is, on Craxton Wood, we have Auntie Kath, who is 94 years young. Auntie Kath had an arduous life as a teenager in the World War II in Ukraine and Germany. She has many harrowing stories of that time with my mum and her family. And without Auntie Kath, my mum would never have come over to the UK after the war had ended, and I wouldn't be here. So thank you, Auntie Kath. Auntie Kath's two sons, Peter and Jeffrey, are here, along with Jeffrey's wife, Sue. I'd also like to mention Charlie, my brave and beautiful daughter, who's here today with her cousin Louise. Thank you both for coming along. Charlie does have the voice of an angel and is going to sing the first song when we dance. So we'll all get to hear how talented she is. Okay, on to friends on both sides. Kevin Averill, Ricardo and Amanda, Phil and Becky, Mike and Jenny, on tables Costa Adeke, Craxton Wood and Marrakesh. You are all from different walks of life, and I've been fortunate enough to have you as friends for many years. We've had a lot of laughing along the way, and I'm grateful for you all joining us today. There are many cyclists that count as friends all over the Northwest, and there are virtually none here tonight. There's the exceptions to the rule. Most of them are miserable buggers when they're not on their bikes. So backhanded. I count myself really lucky to have met all the seasoned friends here, because without exception, you have all been so warm and friendly toward me, and I really feel like part of the clan, so thank you.
So to ex-colleagues and long-standing friends of mine, Sue and Sue from Leeds. With their better halves, Tony and Bob. They used to call us the Three Sues when we all worked in Leeds. But these two girls have been there for me, thick and thin. I owe you so much. Thank you, darlings, for travelling from Leeds. We love you.
Yes.
Always rely on Sue Murdoch to bring the joy. Moving on. So when I moved from Leeds to Newark via Warrington to Parkgate, or Partygate as we call it locally, I knew the Wirral was a really special place and a place for me. It reminded me of my hometown in Scotland, Castle Douglas, where we have friendly people that actually make conversation with you and a real sense of community, where people look out for you, and a beautiful spot overlooking the Welsh hills to call home. I couldn't be happier than happy to welcome neighbours and friends from the Wirral and Partygate on tables Madrid and Marrakesh. So Les, Carol, Emma, Trevor, Jules and Andy, Rita and Alan, who I met through Emma and Trevor, the lovely Linda, and her husband David, and the very handsome, talented and very kind Aaron Jones, and his equally handsome partner James. I'm not really sure I should be saying that now I'm a married woman, but so this group of friends have not only made me feel welcome and part of the community, but that warmth has been extended to Paul. I'd particularly like to mention Les. Les, who can talk for England, Scotland, Ireland, America, France, Turkey. He's on this table here, by the way. For the room, Les is in the front. Les is now retired after running the family business with Carol. He brings my bin in every week. Bin day is a Monday. I think he got fed up with me bringing the tone of the place down because the bin was still out on Friday. So he brings it in when he's not on holiday. And of course these retired people, you know, they're always on holiday, so I end up bringing the bin in myself. So Les, there's a few HR people in the room here, so we're going to serve you 2 red cards after tonight, so you need to do better. And my other lovely neighbour, Emma. Emma picked me up when I fell. She poured me large gins. And gave me the push I needed to find Mr. Right. To Andy and Fiona from the Lake District. Like Table Castle Down. Well, Fiona is originally from Glasgow and still has that Glasgow accent. You came into my life 10 years ago and I'm so grateful you did. We've laughed and cried over the years, and before you all leave tonight, you really got to go and say hello to those two lovely people. They are such a wonderful example of a married couple who live a life of love and care. I've taken such inspiration from these two wonderful friends. To my exceptional Liverpool colleagues and some ex-colleagues on tables, here we go, Castle Didref, Anfield, Partygate, Beaumaris, Costa Adeje and Castle Douglas. Spread you around so you don't cause chaos on the Zoom. We'll do that on our own. I have the great pleasure of working with you every day, and I can honestly say you're the best. You are friends as well as colleagues, so thank you for giving up your Friday nights to be here. In particular, I'd just like to mention Craig and Tracy. Craig worked with me and the two Sues in Leeds. And yes, he really came out of that experience with his skin on, just. He's one of the most warmest, kindest, genuine people you'll ever meet, and he's on Table Castle Douglas with his beautiful wife, Tracy. Tracy is his rock. She's a strong, authentic woman, mother and wife.
Susan!
I'm not talking to you, Craig. Tracy, I'm grateful to you because you give Craig the bandwidth to work in Liverpool while you keep the family together in York. I'd also like to mention Bill Bygrove and his beautiful wife, Dot. Bill in the first couple of weeks of joining Liverpool, and the man is incredible. He really has been sent from above. He's our club chaplain and Red Neighbours ambassador, and he gives so much of himself to others. He puts everyone ahead of himself, and I've had the great pleasure of meeting his family, who are an extension of him and Dot. I've had so many kind words of wisdom from Bill over the years, and he has made me a stronger spirit. Bill, more than you will ever know, we thank you and Dot for being here and being in our lives. You are so precious. Bill comes to meetings in the club, right from the very top, from ownership to Peter Moore, who's in the room,
More.
and Moore. Peter, who's in the room, Moore. And he tells us in every meeting, it doesn't matter who he meets, he tells them, I love you. So Bill, we love you, and Dot, we love you. I'd also like to mention Carol Anthony. Carol and I bonded from the get-go with Irish parents, and it was Carol who gave me a lucky wishing Irish stone, which I had in my pocket when I met Paul for the first time. So the luck of the Irish was shining on me then, and it certainly is tonight. So thank you, darling. And finally, from me anyway, to the team here at the Little Fox, you guys are amazing. Louise and the team have made everything so easy for us. For the talented and beautiful Sarah Jane Edwards, even more beautiful, another beautiful man in the house, and the incredible team at the Town Hall and the Registrar, who I think you'll all agree did a wonderful job.
Hear, hear.
Okay, I'll do my best not to fall over in this bit. Okay, to Susan. As soon as you stepped out of the car on our first date, and I saw how gorgeous you are, I could feel and see your aura and demeanour. I knew then that we were soulmates when we met just over a year ago at Craxton Wood, and somehow I knew that even though you were late due to a football match at Tottenham Hotspur, you were the one.
Good choice.
Exactly.
I was more than happy to wait for you to arrive that night. I am truly honoured that you've given me your heart, and I my heart to you. All I have to do is be myself. Amazingly, this is all I have to do. Our time together has been amazing, and the table names tonight signify some of the highlights. Craxton Wood, where we met, our first holiday in Marrakesh, a special holiday in Costa Rica in Tenerife, Champions League final at Madrid, of course. Visits to Castle Dydreth and Portmeirion, where we got engaged, and our precious time spent at Castle Douglas, Susan's hometown, and of course our home in Partygate. And last but not least, Anfield, where we have watched Liverpool win many matches. We confessed to each other a few weeks after meeting that we were both smitten and that our relationship was only going to go one way, so here we are.
Okay, this really is the final stretch. I promise. You can see the papers getting in. And finally, to my husband, Paul. I'm not quite sure where to begin. We met, we both knew, and we haven't been apart since. You came into my life over a year ago, and I've not stopped smiling and laughing since. This is the time to get the bucket. You are thoughtful, caring, funny, handsome, easy to be around, great company, comfortable in your own skin, charming, mannerly, calm, kind and loving, but more than anything, that you are you. I often watch you going around your day-to-day things at home and smile to myself with happiness and contentment that we are together and so happy. This really is how a good relationship should be, and I'm totally committed to playing my part and making sure that we retain how we feel today and every other day for the rest of our lives. I love you with all my heart and my soul.
Okay, so enough talking. I know our absent parents and friends would want us all to have a brilliant night, so let's get on, eat, drink, and have a great time. So a toast, please, to life and loved ones.
Life and laminated on your table card. So Lisa, everyone knows who Lisa is. My friend from the lake was just asking to mention her. So thank you, Lisa.
Firstly,
No,
Right.
that's us, Phil.
So
Unless you're intending to say something.
I am intending to say
Okay.
what I'm intending to say is completely off the cuff, but I think it is necessary. Everybody around here could not be more overjoyed to see you two happy. I've never seen Paul like a puppy dog before. And I've known Paul, by the way, since I was 4 years of age. I have a picture of Paul and I when we were in primary school, junior school, infant school. We were both the best two of the guys. We both ran against each other, and we were generally, on a serious note, first and second, and I raced him and he raced me and he beat me and I beat him, etc. So I've known him all my life, and I could not tell you how happy I am, and thus we are, to see those two as happy as they are.
Here, here.
It's all a myth about them romantically finding each other. They found each other because of Les. Les put an advert in the Daily Post saying, "I'm sick and tired of emptying the bins. I need somebody to meet this girl and take over my job." But it doesn't sound, Paul, like you've taken over the job quite as well as you should have done. So I think you need to say to Les, "My job."
We've already discussed it. The contract is extended.
Good, good. I'll stop in a second, but I'm also quite qualified to have this conversation because literally within a few days, a year ago today, I was cycling with Paul and a friend of mine called Richard around the Welsh countryside and around Overton and Abistock, etc. We did about 30 odd miles, and we sat and had coffee, and this is an absolutely true story. We sat and had coffee in the morning at the Plassey, a lovely, lovely, lovely autumn day, and Paul looked a bit dewy-eyed, and I said to him, "Why are you so excited?" Richard could barely speak because he couldn't keep up with me, and I couldn't really keep up with Paul. But Paul, he had more breath than we did, said, "Well, I'm going on a date tonight." I said, "Oh, really? Who with?" "Well, I don't really know who with, but a lovely girl called Susan, and here's her photograph." To which I went, "Wow." Punching way above your weight again. and I'm very excited. And so Richard and I said, "Well, we're very excited for you as well." In fact, we're quite excited as well. And from that day, the romance blossomed, and then I kept in touch with Paul, and then met Susan not for months afterwards, and then it became a romance, then it became an engagement, and now it's a marriage. And within 1 year, you guys have met, fallen in love, and got married, and I think it's a wonderful story. I sent Richard a text. The reason I asked for a photograph in the town hall, I sent it to Richard, and he just said, "Wow, look at that! I should be a matchmaker." But I'd just like to close, and this is the reason I stood up in the first place, so I'm sorry for rambling, to thank you guys on behalf of us guys for your hospitality, your kindness, your generosity, and we could not be happier to be here tonight. Thank you.